What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and these are my NBA DFS contenders for Thursday, August 6th. Man, I never remember the date. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Baseball, basketball, golf, you name it, we're doing it right now, so come check it out. Anthony Davis is on the outside looking in. Who will be the top 10 plays for today? It's time to find out. Alrighty, first up on the list, number 10, Kristaps Porzingis, my 10th ranked player on FanDuel, my number 9 on DraftKings, 8,600, 8,500, but he is a power forward on FanDuel, and that is important. I just want to get Porzingis because I think he's playing great. 1.56 fantasy points per minute so far in the bubble. I'm giving him 34 minutes. This is an important game against the Clippers. The Mavs might see them in the playoffs. A little bit of a pace-up spot for Dallas as well. It's just really difficult for me to not like Porzingis at a mid-8 price tag. He's doing everything he can on the floor. I mean, if you really want to know how good he is, he doesn't have a multiplier on SuperDraft. 1.00x. This is a guy you want to get today. This game means a ton for the Mavs, and I think Porzingis is going to be a big part of it. Now, hopefully you have enough money to make this move, although there is a higher salary guy that we will get to. But number 9, James Harden. He's 8th on FanDuel, 11th on DraftKings. I've got him in for 35 minutes against the Lakers. Now, it's possible that he skyrockets to the top of this list if Russell Westbrook ends up out. As of right now, he's questionable. I'm assuming he's going to play. Harden's been at 1.7 fantasy points per minute throughout this bubble. 23% chance of hitting his goal score on FanDuel. That's a 66. He needs 66 in a GPP. You would love it. Shouldn't be all that surprising if it happens either. Needs 73 on DK, which is a little bit tougher to wrap your head around, but it's James Harden. He puts up 73 points for breakfast, so to speak. I really like Harden. I have one preference as a pay-up option, but it's hard not to like Harden here. The Lakers defensively not set up to take on James Harden. Not having Rondo, which doesn't really matter, not having Avery Bradley makes it a little thin. Harden can cook. Okay, next up, number 8, DeAndre Ayton, 9th on FanDuel, 4th on DraftKings, forward and center eligibility, just 7,200 there. And a 1.35x multiplier on SuperDraft. I think that looks great. Indiana, kind of thin in the front court. It's basically Miles Turner and nobody else. I think that bodes well for Ayton. Hasn't been all that great during the restart. 1.04 fantasy points per minute. I think he's more of like a 1.2 to 1.3 guy. So I think that his performance will ramp up. Price is coming down a little bit. It's about 20% to hit his goal. You're looking for 50 out of DeAndre Ayton. I see no reason that he can't do it, especially when he's projected to go for 21 and 12. When you have that kind of baseline, getting a little bit more on the margin should be pretty easy. You get an extra steal or a block, and you are swimming in fantasy points. I'm really liking DeAndre Ayton today. Okay, number 7, hear me out, Jae Crowder. Now, we don't have the full 6-game slate today. It's only 5, so value is a little hard to come by. Crowder's 4K on FanDuel, 4,400 on DK. I've got him in to play 29 minutes. This is a game against Milwaukee. I think his body and play style fit a matchup against the Bucks pretty well, so I think his minutes are safe. It's a monster pace up spot. 4.8 additional possessions for the Heat. And they're not going to have Jimmy Butler. I think that's really important. Crowder's not going to fill the stat sheet. 0.7 fantasy points per minute since he's been back in the bubble. But he's more of like a 0.85, 0.9 guy. He's going to be able to do a little bit of everything. But at this point in time, there's not a ton of value out there. And if you can get someone that's going to play 28 to 30 minutes in this low 4K range, I think you have to pay attention to it. You need mid-30s from Jae Crowder. I think that he can do it. All right, major caveat here. This man is questionable, so if he's not in, obviously don't play him. Number 14 on FanDuel, but number 2 on DraftKings, Russell Westbrook. He's only 9K on DK. 1.26 fantasy points per minute so far in Orlando. You know the talent level is a lot higher than that. Projected for 29, 8.5, and 7. I love this baseline. I hope that he plays because I would rather go to Russell Westbrook than Harden just because of this price tag. A 60-point GPP goal is more than feasible. Again, I like this matchup for Harden and Russ. They're going to get out and run. The Lakers are a little thin in the types of guys that can slow down Harden and Westbrook. Now, it's the same thing on the opposite end, but I'm going to lean towards Harden and Westbrook from a DFS perspective. Go ahead and get yourself some Russ if he is able to play. If not, fire up your James Harden. All right, a lot of people are going to get a chuckle out of this one, including friend of the program, Ben Raza, number 5. It's Gary Trent Jr., 3,900 on FanDuel, 4,400 on DK. He even gets the 1.8x multiplier on SuperDraft. Dual eligibility on DK, guard and forward, incredibly valuable. Here's where I stand. Sounds a lot like the Jae Crowder explanation. He's 3,900. That is more than enough value for you at a 34-minute projection. Look, Gary Trent's going to pick up table scraps. This is Dame Lillard's team. This is CJ McCollum's team. This is obviously now Yusuf Nurkic's team. But I think that Trent can just fall into this a little bit. I want to take my chances on a 5-game slate of guys that I expect to be on the floor a lot, and that's Gary Trent. There's just not any legitimate value on the slate right now. So if you're trying to spend any additional salary, these are the types of guys that you need to go to. I think he's a perfect value on FanDuel. He makes just about any lineup work on DraftKings. Sign me up for a little bit of Gary Trent today, number 5 on the contenders list. And then we go to number 4, Kawhi Leonard. I don't understand it, but 8,400 on FanDuel, that's the number 1 play for me. 8,700 on DK is 10th, and he gets a 1.2x multiplier on SuperDraft. You can't beat this. Clippers are going to play this one straight as best I can tell. Lou Will should be making his way back a little bit more. I played in low 20s in minutes his first time back. We still don't have Montrezl Harrell. I'm giving Kawhi Leonard 33 minutes. He's a 1.4.5 fantasy point per minute guy. He's just too cheap. We're talking about arguably the best player in basketball. I know that he plays it differently on the floor, defense a much bigger part. He's way too cheap right now, especially for a 5-game slate. I understand that his performance is rarely highly variant. He's got pretty narrow error bars on his projection. I don't think it matters today. 8,400, 8,700. I'm not worried about it. I want to have Kawhi Leonard, but he's not the only Clipper. Alrighty, coming in number 3, 4,200 on FanDuel, 4,800 on DraftKings. It's Aaron Holiday. Again, I'm taking a bet on minutes with minimal value on the slate right now. Holiday is very much an afterthought on a team with Brogdon and Oladipo healthy, but there's only so many places you can go. I'm betting on the playing time of Aaron Holiday. You're looking for a mid-30s GPP goal. I'm hoping that he can be a little bit more involved against a Phoenix team. It's going to be a pace-up spot for the Pacers. I realized I didn't switch my picture here from Kawhi Leonard to Aaron Holiday. I think that I still have one. Yeah, there we go. See, you can do that on the fly. No one's confused. That's Aaron Holiday. Aaron Holiday isn't Kawhi Leonard. Look, 4,200 for a point guard that's going to play north of 30 minutes. That's a direction I need to go on a 5-gamer. Mid-30s, can he get there 26% of the time on FanDuel? I'd like to think that he can. I think those odds are worth that salary. If you're paying down, don't be afraid to go to Aaron Holiday. But if you're paying up a little bit, same story as Kawhi, number 2, same team even. Give me Paul George. Number 3 on FanDuel, number 3 on DraftKings, and number 2 on SuperDraft. He's below 8K, 7,700 on FanDuel and 7,800 on DraftKings. Massive pace up spot for the Clippers against Dallas. He's at 1.3 fantasy points per minute in the bubble. That's what I think his general talent level is. I've given him 33 minutes. All you need is Paul George to get into the 50s and you're happy about it. Because of his price, Paul George is easily one of the best plays of the slate. I can't imagine not having a ton of him. I like him in all formats. He is the quote-unquote guy to pay up for, but at that salary, it's not even a real pay up. You just want to have Paul George no matter your lineup construction. And finally, coming in number 1 on the day, and I've got a lot of caveats on this one, it's Kelly Olynyk. 5K on FanDuel, 4,800 forward and center eligibility on DraftKings. I find it really difficult to get away from him on the lack of value. Now here's the problem. The Miami Heat are super weird. Jimmy Butler is going to be out again. Olynyk has been playing monster minutes since the return, but the Bucks seem to be like a weirder matchup. I would not be surprised if Spoelstra nerfs Kelly Olynyk's minutes for some strange reason. I never trust the Heat. It's like getting popped. But if you're expecting Kelly Olynyk to play 28 minutes or more, which is exactly what I think, in a huge pace up spot, I think you have to go there. The Bucks will give up threes, so Kelly Olynyk's going to be happy to shoot them. The question is, does he have enough time to get them off? I'd like to think that he does. 37 points is the GPP goal, whether you're on FanDuel or DK. I'm going that direction. He's been shooting great. He's been shooting a lot. 14-7 is the baseline projection here. That could even increase as the Bucks do like to give up threes. That's exciting to me. If Olynyk's out there for the minutes, I think he's the best value you can find. He works in balance builds. He works in stars and scrubs builds. This is one of the few places where you could wring out some value on the slate. I didn't expect to say it, but Kelly Olynyk is the number 1 contender. Alrighty, guys, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders for Thursday, August 6th. 6th gets it. See, that's how 15 minutes. That's how long I've been recording before I forgot the date. 15 minutes. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of the other content goes live. I'll be on MLB Strategy Show. I'll be on the first NBA Live Before Lock. So if you're looking for updates to this list, tune in to our Live Before Lock show where I will have the updates for you. Best of luck today. I will be back tomorrow with another Contenders video. Good luck.